Hello, hello, hello. It says I am live. I hope I really am. It seems like it's lagging a little bit. I hope it's okay. Can you guys see me okay? Hear me okay? I hope so. Um, Thank you so much for coming in. My name is Elisa, and this is Elisa's Adventures in Cruising. And I am today participating in the live team collaboration with sponsored by Team Build with Geo. And I am going to talk about my very favorite subject, which is cruises. I'm going to talk about cruise ships, and I can't tell if they're can somebody let there we go, there we go, there we go. Thank you so much. I wasn't sure if that was working okay, if I was really live. I see Geo is here. Thank you so much. Yes, I am part of the Team Build with Geo live collaboration team, and it is Wednesday again. So happy Wednesday, happy hump day to everybody. For the month of September, we are going live every Wednesday. I see you guys coming in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to try and go ahead and get started on my topic because I only have a half an hour, but I appreciate you guys so much for coming in. I see you, Ross, Maria. Thank you so much for coming in. I think I saw Nancy B as well. Controversial Cruising. How are you? How are you? Thanks so much for coming in. But anyway, I wanted to talk about how you guys know when you think about a cruise ship, or if you've ever been on a cruise ship, there's so much involved with it, right? There's so much food, there's so much decorate. It's a floating city, basically. There's so much that goes into putting a good cruise together. And we meet so many interesting people, the crew, we know they're from all over the world, but have you really ever thought about how many people and how they get this amazing group of people to work on these cruise ships? I never really gave it any serious consideration. I talk to the crew members all the time, and they definitely can help make or break a fabulous vacation for you. But I found this article by Cruise Critic, and it's called 8 Facts You Might Not Know About Working on a Cruise Ship. And I thought I would share them. It's food for thought, if nothing else. I've never thought about working on a cruise ship seriously, although I'm not usually ready to get off the ship when the cruise is over. But maybe you guys have. Maybe you have, or maybe you actually have worked on one. So do please share. So anyway, the first thing, this article is based on them going to visit a training facility for Royal Caribbean. You know, Royal Caribbean currently has the largest cruise ships in the world, and they are sailing all around the world with lots and lots of people. Never worked on one, but thought about it. Oh, okay. Well, this might be something to keep in mind, Gio. You never know. You might have a career change. We all need a retirement plan, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, they went to a Royal Caribbean. It probably should have been a CD. Yeah, you should have been a cruise director. They went to this training and housing facility to find out what it was all about. Hey, Pandy, thanks for coming in. So the first thing they talk about is how many opportunities cruise ship crew members actually have within the company, or per cruise actually, or per cruise ship. I'm sorry, I'm getting a weird pop up on my screen, so I hope that everything is still okay. But did you? We think of the obvious one, the cabin steward, the captain, of course, but there are so many jobs involved with the cruise ship, and they're talking about how they hire, of course, the captain. They have childcare workers, they have dancers, they have doctors, they have chefs, they have cruise directors, the stateroom attendants, spa therapists. Each Royal Caribbean ship provides around 450 different types of jobs, and they all have different ranks. I don't want to click too much because I'm afraid that. Okay, I'm just going to keep going. So again, I thank you all for coming in. I hope that it is going okay. So 450 different types of jobs and at various ranks on a cruise ship. Royal Caribbean is like the other cruise lines in the industry. Then they have similar programs in the Philippines, in China, in Indonesia, always trying to make sure that they have enough staff for these cruise ships. So I thought that that was really interesting. There are lots of jobs that we never think about, but 450 different types of jobs on any one cruise ship. Does that like not seem like a lot? That seems like a lot to me. But apparently they have lots of job opportunities. Thank you guys for still answering in the chat. I appreciate that. Hi, Etta. How are you? Najuma, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you guys. I think I see a new name, Shonda. Thank you so much for coming in. So they're at this facility in the Philippines, but apparently they have several of them around the world. And the new crew members go to one of these training. I don't want to say training camps, but like a training facility. They go and they have a typical course is 13 weeks of training. 13 weeks that are filled with practical and classroom based training. And during the course of that training, they have, like individual exercises, group exercises, classroom learning, all about how to, I guess, be a good crew member. They say they send some staff to a dedicated training center for safety, hospitality, catering courses, and that is situated close to Manila in the Philippines. And during those courses, staff are provided with on-site accommodation and all meals. So it sounds like it's a really cool opportunity if you get. I don't know if they go on to talk about how they actually apply for these positions or how they recruit people to go to them, but it sounds like an all encompassing thing to go. And I'm assuming they're paid for the training, as well as having all of their accommodation being covered as well. So 13 weeks. Could we do 13 weeks of cruise training? Anybody? Geo? You're going to go to 13 weeks of cruise training? I don't know if I could do 13 weeks. That seems like a lot. That seems like a lot. I have family that are going to Cancun next year. Oh, nice. Yes, everything is going okay. Keep going. Okay, thanks, Gio. Appreciate it. So, so they go for this training for at least 13 weeks. They learn all kinds of things. The company puts them up. They're housed there. I'm imagining that they go and meet a ton of people on top of learning a ton of things to be able to work on the ship. So once they get through this training and they go on to their cruise assignment, or they're offered. It says they're upon successful completion of the training, crew members are offered a contract, and they range typically from 2 months to 9-month contracts. They don't have holidays, or they're not given like holidays, time off, but crew members can choose whether or not they're going to take their 6 to 8 week break, or choose when they want to take it, and they automatically get when they have these longer contracts. So you can't say, I want off for this specific holiday or for this specific somebody's birthday or whatever, but if you schedule it right, I guess you could have that time off in the middle of your contract. So it says in theory they could work for 4 months, take 2 months off, and then return to their ship for the second part of their contract, but must choose to work all the required time all in one go. Most choose to do it all in one go. So I mean, I don't know. Do we think that's better? Would you need the break? Or do you run the risk of going back home, getting comfortable, and not wanting to come back, especially those, the early contracts when you first get trained? I'm sure it must be difficult to be away from home, your normal routine, your normal food, your normal bed. So would you, if you had the opportunity to do this, would you just do it straight through, or would you plan out your 6 to 8 week break in between? Just curious. Wow. Right. Hey, Marlene, thanks for coming in. Yeah, that's a lot, right? That's a long time away from home, which I knew they had long stretches away from home, but I never thought about holidays and birthdays and that kind of thing where they might want time off. Gio says I would do it straight through. I don't mind being away from home. Okay, well, once you get used to it, once you get used to it and you're settled in, you might as well. I would go straight. Yeah, me too. I think I would too. Child, I'm trying to make my money. Get all your money in one shot, and then you could think about having a little breaky break. But I did think that was interesting. I knew they had long contracts. I didn't know how the time off worked for them. So there you go. 2 to 9 month contracts, and they can schedule their 6 to 8 weeks off, or go through the whole contract and then take it before they take their next assignment. So interesting. Um, they have a lot of opportunities for promotion. It says once they've gotten through all of that, they've been trained, they've gone on their assignment, assuming they've gotten through it successfully, they have opportunities to get promoted. And of course, they're probably mostly starting off with a new cruise line at an entry level position, but they can take more courses, more training, and be eligible for promotion. So they're given as an example of somebody who joined Royal Caribbean in 2006 as an apprentice chef. Excuse me. And then they got promoted to a line cook, and then to a first chef, and then a sous chef, or they're going to now train to be a sous chef. So I imagine that the company has already invested so much time in people, and that they want to keep them in house, and they not only give them they give them a lot of opportunities to advance, which I thought was cool too. I guess I just assumed like an executive chef would have had to done all of their culinary training and restaurant work and all of that before coming to the company. I never thought about somebody starting off in a lower or entry level position and working their way up. But apparently, it's possible. It's possible. So again, if you have dreams, if you have big dreams of being a big time executive chef on a cruise ship, don't give up. Don't give up. Royal Caribbean says that working on a cruise ship is worthwhile, and they have very high retention. Hey, Keisha H, thanks so much for coming in. They have high employee retention. So they don't tell you the exact specific numbers, but Royal Caribbean says its employee retention record is above the industry standard, and crew members choose to stay with the company rather than jump ship to another one. I mean, from what I have seen or the people that I've talked to, I think that's very true. The latest ship from Royal Caribbean that has launched is the Utopia of the Seas, and that cruise ship captain I happened to have the chance to meet because he was the captain aboard the Independence of the Seas that sails out of Cape Canaveral. And I cruised on it and had a chance. I think I showed you guys the picture of me meeting the captain a couple years ago. And he had told a story at that time about basically how he had worked his way up to being a captain. So it sounds like that is very true, that people come into the company, they learn all they can, they take all their training, they stay, they advance. I guess if you can get used to the times away from home, that you'll be fine. You'll be fine if that's your chosen career path. Again, I just thought that was really interesting. Um, when going on these trips, always be prepared with floaties and a life preserver. I'd rather be safe than sorry. I definitely did participate in the required muster drill every time. You have to, but I do that. I check my cabin for my life vest. You know, the same as you would on an airplane. Follow those safety precautions. I do that. I do that. um, but yeah, so they say they have good retention in general. Employees stick to one Royal Caribbean cruise line, like either they work for Royal Caribbean or Celebrity. I'm not sure. There's probably a different line in Europe as well, but some do move across the brands. There are many who have clocked 10 or more years of service. Seniority doesn't necessarily lead to more benefits, like I'm not even sure. I'm guess they don't mean. I know they get benefits, but it doesn't lead to extra perks. But what they do get is more flexibility with their contracts and getting the preference to work on a specific ship as they grow in their excuse me years of service with the company. So again, like I said, if you guys want to, it's never too late. It's never too late. You too can go and work on a cruise ship and have the chance to move up and move around and all of that stuff. Hey Tanya, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it. So yeah, so there's that. They have good retention. They also talk about how the crew become like family, and I know that makes sense. Like you're spending so much time working and with each other and living basically together with these people for years and years that they become close and keep in touch. And I don't know if you guys follow any of the crew members on different ships that also do vlogs. Like I watch Chris Wong vlogs, who is on he's on Royal Caribbean as well, and he on his downtime he will show how he goes on vacations with his fellow crew members, or how when they have some downtime after their shift or in between their shift, they go sightseeing together and just hang out. So I'm sure that people become very close very quickly under those circumstances. You know what I mean? But this goes on to talk about how the cruise line, sorry, I'm getting tongue tied, does make accommodation for married couples so that they can be able to work on the same contract and not be away from each other for those months and months, which I didn't know. I assumed that they had to just coordinate their schedules and hope that they could actually see each other. So I thought that was interesting as well. And they can work the same ship and share the same cabin. That makes sense. And they also talk about how there are lots of family members who work together on cruise ships. Many of them apply after talking to their relatives who already work in the industry, and then they, I guess, I don't want to say recruit them, but they tell them all about it, and they decide that they're going to be crew members too. So, who's coming with me? I'm not going to be a crew member, but wait, never say never. You never know. Maybe that is my retirement plan. I think Scott, Controversial Cruising, was talking about he should have become a cruise director. I don't think I should have been a cruise director. Um, Although they look like they have a lot of fun. I don't know. I can't even imagine what job I could do on a cruise ship, but I've heard siblings who work on cruise ships together. I, you know, I never thought about it. I know, like I said, I've talked to plenty of crew members when I'm on board the ships, and they do talk about family, they do talk about friends back home, or they know on this ship or that ship, but I never really even thought to say, "Oh, wait, are you talking about your friend or your brother or your cousin or what?" So that's very interesting. I think the cruise lines offer a lot of opportunities from people from all corners of the globe, and it makes sense that if your brother, sister, cousin, whoever went and is doing well working on the cruise lines, that you would be inclined to do the same thing. So shouldn't be surprised, but I never knew that. Hey, Embarkation Nation, thanks for coming in, Jennifer. Um, howdy. What else? Cruise ship food. Now, of course, they get paid to work on the cruise ship. They get their accommodations paid for on the cruise ship. Now, I know they're in tight corners, and I don't know quarters, and I don't know how many people have to share a cabin. I think it's usually just two, or you could have a single, or like they're talking about, the married couples could be together. Excuse me, but they also have their meals covered, which makes sense. You're on a cruise ship, there's lots of food on the cruise ship, but did you know? Dang, Geo beat me to it. I don't know what she told you, but them thumbs up the live. Yeah, give me a thumbs up. I don't know if you thought about how or where they eat. There are crew members who are working basically around the clock. So they have to be fed around the clock as well, I would imagine, so that there's always some food for them. And this article is saying, much like is the case for cruisers, there's no shortage of food on a cruise ship for crew members. Makes sense. Staff meals are prepared by dedicated crew cooks in a separate galley. Did y'all know that? I think I guess I never thought about it. I knew they had their own dining room and they have their own crew quarters, but I never thought about there being a separate kitchen. Never thought there being a separate galley just dedicated to their meals. So staff meals are prepared by their crew cooks in a separate galley. These include a regional selection of dishes from the crew members' home countries. Again, it makes sense. Fast food, I think burgers and pizza, as well as healthy options. Again, they're far away from home on long stretches. I would think that they're going to want some comforts of home as well, and that usually means food. Everybody has a favorite food from home, or something that you would really miss if you did not have it at least every once in a while. So, in case it goes on to say, in case anyone is wondering, no, crew never eat passenger leftovers. Did we think that? Did we think they were getting our scraps? I didn't think that. Did you guys think that? Did you think that the crew was being fed whatever was left over? How could that be? There's 400 and well, there's more than that on the mega ship. There's a couple thousand crew members on the ship. There's these the bigger ships, like I'm talking about with Royal Caribbean. That's like 6,000 passengers or more. You can't depend on there being that much left over to feed the crew. So did anybody think that? Hey, hi TJs. Hi, Etta. I don't know if I said hi already coming in. Did you guys, or did you ever think about that? Did you think that they were eating whatever was left over from the passengers? I did not think of that. LOL, never knew, Nancy says. That's why I always will bring a pizza or deli sandwich to my favorite crew because they don't get our food. Does that mean that their food is not good, Scott? Don't tell me this article is not right. A very nice token, yeah. Um, so no, they don't get the passenger leftovers as cruise ship vessels are manned around the clock. Crew members have access to their own food and drinks 24/7. The terms of their contract specify their breaks and their meal times. Good to know. I've also heard people say that they've talked to crew and they never get a day off, and that makes more sense now that I'm seeing this breakdown. That they don't get the holidays or get to take those breaks during the middle of their contract or during their contract. They work their time and then they have the 6 weeks or 8 weeks off, either taking it halfway through or at the end of their contract. That makes way more sense. I know that they do certain crew, and I'm sure there's a whole reasoning and system about who actually gets to get off the ship and when, but they do have downtime and that they're able to get off the ships at that time. I've been in the crew area on Carnival. Oh, nice. I love room service. Just to talk to your host and they'll let you know when they're having Filipino food for the staff. They'll bring it to you. Oh, nice. They don't get days off. They get 2 hours off. Yes, within a 6 or 8 hour shift. If you're a service worker, cabin steward and servers and bartenders and casino. Nice. So they get small amounts of times off depending on where they work and how their shifts go. But the days are broken up according to their contract. But anyway, they definitely get time to have their own meals and snacks and drinks in their own crew area. So don't worry, they're not going hungry. They might get special treats every once in a while from lovely passengers like Carnival Cruise Addict, controversial cruising, but they're not going without. So anyway, I thought that article was really interesting and just something to think about and what all goes into supplying a cruise ship, including the cruise ship workers. So there you go. I see Gio has already put up the link for Emma. Design with Emma is next on our live collaboration team for tonight. And definitely go on over and see what Emma is up to. I'm sure she's getting ready for fall and has some lovely decorating ideas for us. So thank you guys so much for coming in. I appreciate you all. And I hope you found that interesting. Next week, I'll probably talk about food. Because what do we eat on these cruise ships? Thank you, everyone. Have a great night and a great week. Go check out Emma now. Thanks, Gio.